day 18 of hiking the Appalachian Trail in 100 days. Got a little bit of a later start today, about 6:10, and just climbing through the presidentials. Absolutely in a cloud. Can see maybe 100 yards ahead of me. Not very far at all, but enough to see the trail. It's sort of misting a little bit, but I think it's mostly just like the fact that I'm in the clouds. So about 6 miles from the Madison Hut to Mount Washington. So that shouldn't be too terrible, I don't think. I think it's mostly like above the tree line and rocky terrain, but it shouldn't be like tons and tons of elevation since I'm mostly already up high. So, and then just a little bit after Mount Washington is the Lake of the Clouds huts. So hopefully they still have some sort of breakfast snacks available, leftovers. When I get there, that would be awesome. But just focusing right now on getting to Mount Washington and then getting on with the day. Well, looks like I made it to the summit of Mount Washington here. Really just over 3 hours, so honestly pretty good time, but it's literally nothing to see. The rain definitely has picked up over the last hour or two, and honestly there's a little bit of wind up here, but compared to what I think they typically have or sometimes have, it's really not too bad at all. Looks like my camera is pretty wet, so you can't see a whole lot very well, but it's okay. That's what we got. Gonna hopefully find this little hut here. Try to go in. It looks like it's right here, maybe. See if they're open yet for the morning. So still in a cloud today, but it's pretty much stopped raining. So I'm able to be somewhat warm, at least, while hiking here. And made it down about the 1.5 miles from Mount Washington Peak to the Lakes of the Clouds hut. And I hung out there for a little bit. I got there around 10:45, and I thought they were going to still have some like breakfast leftovers, but they didn't, which I was very disappointed about. And got back on the trail around 11:15, and gonna go to the Mitzvah hut and talk to the people there. I kind of want to push on, but it's like 9.5 miles to the next shelter, and I could definitely try to stealth camp somewhere. Don't have to stay at the shelter, but I would probably like to, or prefer to at least. So we'll see. I just talked to a guy who was telling me basically there are at least a few pretty easy miles right after Mitzvah, so I can probably cruise through those. And I've been cruising pretty nicely here, coming down the mountain. So we'll see. I think it'll be awesome if I could make it to that next shelter tonight. But if the weather turns bad, then I don't really want to be out in it all that much. And I think tomorrow the weather's supposed to be even worse than today. So that might, if I can get a little further today, that would be good. So I got to the Mitzvah hut a little bit before 1:30, and that marked about 12 miles for the day. But I didn't really want to just like sit around all afternoon, so I talked to a guy who said he did the 9.5 miles to the next shelter, Ethan Pond Shelter. He did that this morning. He's coming north, and he told me it wasn't that bad, and he said it only took him like 4.5 hours, blah blah blah. So I was thinking I would go out and do that. It wouldn't be too bad. But at least so far it hasn't been that great for me, and the terrain is definitely more difficult than I expected, and it's taking me a longer time. And to so my original goal was to get there by 6 o'clock, but don't think that's gonna happen at this point. Another issue that cropped up is when I got to the top of Mount Jackson, I ended up taking a wrong turn down a trail for a little bit, and by the time I realized, my phone said I was like a quarter mile north of the trail, of the AT. And so, of course, not wanting to hike back up the mountain, I decided, I'll just bushwhack south in the direction of the trail. And let me tell you, that was not a good idea, because it took me a while and I got a lot wetter, which honestly didn't know that was possible, but it was very possible, and slowed me down a lot. So mistakes were made for sure. So hoping to get there by 6:30 probably. Still have about 5 miles to go, so trying to push the pace, but like I said, some areas of the terrain are just difficult and slowing me down. Just experienced my first occurrence of trail magic. I just got down to Crawford Notch and was starting my way back up, and near this parking lot there was a box of Mountain Dews and Cokes, and I wasn't planning on stopping at all to take a break because I had just less than 3 miles left. I figured I have a few little snacks left to eat, so I can sit down here for 5-10 minutes, eat the snacks, drink the Coke, enjoy the experience a little bit. And sure, maybe I'll get to the shelter a few minutes later, but it's not the end of the world. So that was exciting, and it brightened my day a little bit. Just over 2 miles now to the Ethan Pond shelter. So I'm gonna keep on moving. In the tent for the night, made it to the campsite around 6:20, and not much eventful since then. Just ate dinner. There is a bear box, so didn't have to hang up my food, which was nice. Just put it in there, latch it. And there is a caretaker here. This is one of the sites we had to pay like $10-15, but they have through hiker passes, so I pay $10 at this site, and then I get the pass. And then at future sites it's only $5, which I'll probably be staying at another of the sites tomorrow, so I only have to pay $5. And then also you get some perks at the huts, so you get 2 free baked goods and a bowl of soup at the huts. So probably gonna stop at 2 of the huts that I passed tomorrow, and then the next day I'll pass 1 and stop there, so I can get my 3 things. So that's the plan. Got a fair amount of miles tomorrow if I end up doing them all. I think it's supposed to kind of be rainy and not great weather again, but we'll see how I manage.
Today was definitely a tough day. I was wet most of the day. I was kind of cold sometimes and frustrated with how things were going at times. Disappointed in some things that I experienced. So, mentally kind of a tough day, but hopefully tomorrow is better and I can have some good miles on the trail.